The thing some people might find so confusing about doing the same thing at the same time, or like I was talking about the magnet versus the spinning particle, you have to understand it's like a feeling. Like you can always get two birds with one stone, right? Or you can take two stones to get one bird. They're just like opposite phases. So let me explain it with another story. I'm going to explain it with a Bible story and rocks, right? Right. And the reason I use these stories is because they was interesting to me because something inside me just made them make sense, especially if we're not necessarily talking literally. I mean, the light is a lie, isn't it? Especially if it's directing us. Anyway, so we got two stories, one about stones and the other in the Stone Age. Right? Right? One about stones, literally, and the other takes place in the Stone Age, right? Since the other one couldn't be a stone, it's going to take place around stones, right? So one concerned itself with fitting the most in the space, right? You want to put the most stones and particles of stones in a certain arrangement in a cup to get the most you can fit in there, right? And the other was about doing the same thing, except it was over time and the stones were more like pathways, right? You got, the broad arteries you want to make sure it gets you down to the cells you need. And then you got like the little smaller around the way branches off of the tree that are not so important, you know what I'm saying? But they're not as important as breathing, let's say, right? So two stories saying the same thing. Noah and his ark was trying to fill the most stones in the thing, right? He was just trying to do the same thing, right? He was just trying to make sure those pathways of possibilities were open over time. And the way he did that was by taking two of each kind. By two of each kind, I mean the agreement and the contradiction of both sides. The one in which the man rules and the one which was the Iron Man rules, you know what I mean? The female. So what Noah it really wasn't about collecting every animal. It was about accepting anything you have to do to serve and at the meeting point, the point of war and water, where we toil with whatever we're folded against really ourselves, right? A backwards version because the echo only comes back out of phase, right? So they're the same thing. They're just two different versions of the same thing. One which takes place over a storyline and one which you can even represent as like a static arrangement of items in space. But isn't the story of Noah just an arrangement of items in space? Isn't it? It is an arrangement of items in space. First he did this, then he did this, and which made him be able to do this. It's the way we think about it. But if we didn't think about it the way we think about it, I couldn't take advantage of you telling you why we thinking about it. That see, life gets in the way of itself. So that's one of the most fundamental thing is there's a limit for some fucking reason. And light goes back. I bet you beyond that limit, that if you can get to that wall and kind of peek through it or whatever, which I know is possible now, I bet you I bet you light is like a head, like light kind of like make burn our skin here, but I bet you it packs a wall up on the other side of that limit. But we have to figure out why that bitch would want to be limiting us in the first place, right? Right. And see, the more I talk about it, the less strange it sounds to say, when I escaped this prison, yes, that is the exact reason for the limit. But see, the thing is, what would I be slapping though? Like, what would I be slapping though? Like, who am I talking to right now? Maybe I'm looking at it too bright. Like I can not stare at the sun, or I can dim everything all the time, right? I can kill myself by holding my breath, or I can kill myself about running around the park 6 times while holding my breath, right? Like they're the same thing. It's just the concept of time makes us think that they're not. Get it? Pun intended. The concept of time makes us think that they're not. Because you and me are just phases, different phases of each other that must be given the differences in our energy. They're just the story we could wind. Hopefully, we both got enough knowledge between you and me, and I'm not using words you don't understand, right? That's why I like to keep my company a few strong words that just tend to work for me, right? All right. So the Stones and Noah are that's the same story, all right? That's the same story. It's just